Today we will review our answers to our quiz. And so we will start from chapter 8, which is sale by a non-owner or one having avoidable title. Kasi yung chapter 7, I believe it has been reported in class. So we will focus our discussion on chapter 8. And chapter 8 begins from the principle of Nemo Dat, Quod non Habet, or Nemo Dat for short. Anong ibig sabihin ng Nemo Dat, Quod non Habet? It means nobody can give what he doesn't have. So that is our jumping board into chapter 8. The principle of Nemo Dat in the law on sales is contained in Article 1508. Let us read. Subject to the provisions of this title, where goods are sold by a person who is not the owner thereof, and who does not sell them under authority or with the consent of the owner, the buyer acquires no better title to the goods than the seller had, unless the owner of the goods is by his conduct precluded from denying the seller's authority to sell. So, etong naka-underline, naka-bold, this is the general rule. The buyer acquires no better title to the goods than the seller had. So, if A has a laptop at hiniram yun ni B, at pagkatapos hiramin ni B, ibinenta ni B kay C, what title does C acquire? Or does C acquire any title at all? Remember na in commodatum hiram, the ownership does not pass. Sabi dito, the buyer acquires no better title to the goods than the seller had. So kung ang title ng seller ay Bailey in commodatum, yun lang ang pwede niyang ipass sa buyer niya as Bailey in commodatum. And what is the obligation of a Bailey in commodatum? To return the thing when demanded by the owner. So in our example, A has a laptop and B borrows the laptop. After borrowing the laptop, sells it to C. C does not acquire a better title than what B or the seller had. And the seller was a Bailey in commodatum. Therefore, C, the buyer, acquires only the right or title of a Bailey in commodatum, in which case, ownership does not pass. So, ano naman ang halimbawa? Yung quiz natin, laging nagsisimula sa snatching. So, a person, a thief, steals the laptop from A. A has a laptop. B is a thief, steals the laptop from A. And after stealing the laptop, sells it to C. What title does C acquire from such a transfer? So, tingnan natin. Ano ba yung title ng seller niya? Si B. Kasi sabi dito, buyer acquires no better title. If B is the thief, therefore he has no title. And he sells it to C. Therefore, if zero title si B, zero title si C, yan ang application ng Nemo Dat. The buyer acquires no better title. So, if zero title si seller, zero title si buyer. So, 1505 is our jumping board to chapter 8, which is sale by a non-owner or one having avoidable title. So, yung last line ng 1508 states, and I quote, unless the owner of the goods is by his conduct precluded from denying the seller's authority to sell. This is Estoppel. This is the first exception to the rule of Nemo Dat. Ano yung Estoppel? There are two types of Estoppel. Estoppel by representation and Estoppel by negligence. Example ng Estoppel by representation. Let's stick to the laptop as our example. A has a laptop, B is his friend, and then B is trying to sell the laptop as though it was his own. So, sabi ni B, C, bilhin mo na tong laptop kasi kailangan ko lang kung hindi lang ngayon lockdown, hindi ko ito ibibenta. Magandang klase to, kabibili ko lang, slightly used lang ito. So, bilhin mo na, mura lang. And then, nakisali si A, yung totoong may-ari. Sabi niya kay C, yung prospective buyer, sige na C, bilhin mo na sa kaibigan ko. Kailangan niya lang talaga ng cash. So here, A, the real owner, is as though supporting the sales pitch of B. Sinasabi niya na si B ang may-ari. Then, nakumbinsin nila si C. Binili ni C yung laptop kay B. Binayaran niya si B. Can A later on complain that C cannot buy it because B has no title over the laptop? No, he cannot complain. He is stopped by his own conduct, by his own misrepresentation. Ano naman yung estoppel by negligence? The same scenario. A is the owner, B is his friend, C is the prospective buyer, B is trying to sell the laptop to C. Sabi ni B, bilhin mo na to, kailangan ko lang ngayon, lockdown lang ngayon. Slightly used lang ito. Nakikinig si A, yung totoong may-ari, pero hindi kumikibo. Hindi siya nagreklamo. Pinapabayaan niya mag-sales talk si B kay C. And then, nakumbinsi si C, binili niya yung laptop kay B, binayaran niya si B. So, can A later on complain that B has no title and therefore there is no valid sale between B and C? No, he cannot do that because he is stopped by his negligence, by his silence. He cannot complain later on that there is no valid sale because the laptop doesn't really belong to B. So, this is what we call estoppel by negligence or estoppel by silence. So, Nemo Dat, kung i-apply natin yung general rule, zero title si B. Hindi niya naman pag-aari yung laptop at wala naman siyang authority talaga. Hindi naman pinabebenta sa kanya ni A. So, he is not the owner, he has no authority. But in this situation where there is estoppel on both sides, C acquires a good title. So this is the first exception where no title on the part of the seller but good title on the part of the buyer because of estoppel on the part of the owner, estoppel by representation and estoppel by negligence. So first exception ito. Now estoppel here works both ways. Estop si A, estop din si B. Si B, hindi pwedeng magreklamo later on na, C, hindi pwedeng babawiin ko yung laptop. Actually, hindi naman akin yun eh. He cannot also complain because of 1435. Ito, inalagay ko rin sa slide. If a person in representation of another sells or alienates a thing, the former cannot subsequently set up his own title as against the buyer or grantee. So, stop si A dito, stop din si B. Ang end result, C acquires a good title over the laptop. So this is estoppel. First exception to the rule of Nemo Dat. So if the subject matter of the sale is real property, the applicable provision is 1437 on estoppel. If the subject matter of the sale is personal property, the proper provisions are Articles 1434 and 1435. Let us read. 1434. When a person who is not the owner of a thing sells or alienates and delivers it, and later the seller or grantor acquires title thereto, such title passes by operation of law to the buyer or grantee. 1435. If a person in representation of another sells or alienates a thing, the former cannot subsequently set up his own title as against the buyer or grantee. The second exception in our book is recording loss. Nasa 1505 pa rin tayo. 1505 continues this way. Nothing in this title, however, shall affect the provisions of any Factors Act, recording laws, or any other provision of law enabling the apparent owner of goods to dispose of them as if he were the true owner thereof. So, I'll just give an example on recording laws. Kasi kahit nasa libro, hindi masyadong na-explain, ano? So, recording laws. Halimbawa, TCT, Transfer Certificate of Title. Alam natin yun, di ba? Nag-LTD na kayo. Transfer Certificate of Title. This is the certificate covering a parcel of land sa Torrens registration. Dalawang kopya ito. One is the owner's copy, another is the government copy. Yung government copy, nandun yung nakafile sa Registry of Deeds or Registry of Property. Yung owner's copy, yun ang hawak ng may-ari. Halimbawa, si A may isang lupain, halimbawa sa Cavite, a parcel of land. May titulo siya, may TCT siya, Transfer Certificate of Title. Ito yung papel ito na color yellow na mayroong may pirma yung Registry of Deeds stating that so and so owns a parcel of land in such and such location. So halimbawa naiwan niya yun sa taxi, yung titulo, yung Certificate of Title. And then nakuha nung taxi driver yung owner's copy. Naiwan kasi ni A, si A ang may-ari ng lupa, ay naiwan niya yung envelope sa taxi. Nung pagparada nung driver, nakita niya may envelope sa likod, kinuha niya, titulo ng lupa. Original. So, ang ginawa ni taxi driver, gumawa ng deed of sale. At pineke yung pirma ng may-ari as seller, vendor, at inilagay siya ang vendee, buyer. Okay? So, meron siyang original na titulo, owner's copy, at meron ngayon siyang deed of conveyance, deed of absolute sale. So, actually, yun lang ang kailangan mo para ma-rehistro mo yung ownership mo sa Registry of Deeds. So, pumunta siya sa Registry of Deeds, dala niya yung owner's copy of the TCT, dala niya yung deed of sale na ginawa-gawa niya, na siya ang nakalagay na buyer or vendee, binayaran niya yung buwis, binayaran niya yung transfer tax, binayaran niya lahat. In other words, nalipat sa pangalan niya yung ownership ng lupa. Okay? Nasa pangalan yan. Therefore, as far as records are concerned, he is the lawful owner of the land now. And then, pag ibenta niya to kay C, C acquires a good title because as far as records are concerned, he is the owner of the land. So, C acquires a good title. So, if you apply Nemo Dat, C does not acquire any title because actually B is not the owner. Finorge niya lang yung deed of sale kasi napulot niya lang yung titulo, Certificate of Title. Pero dahil na-record niya yung ownership niya sa Registry of Deeds, pag ibenta niya yun, then the owner or the buyer acquires a good title over the property. So this is the second exception to the rule of Nemo Dat. Kasi actually wala siyang title eh. Pero dahil naka-record na sa Registry of Deeds ang kanyang pangalan bilang may-ari, then pag ibinenta niya, yung buyer ng lupang yun will acquire a perfect title over the property. So this is the second exception to the rule of Nemo Dat. The third exception is statutory powers, court sale. These are foreclosure sales. Foreclosure sales are administered by the court through the sheriff, actually. Ang sheriff talaga ang nag-administer ng public sale, ng foreclosure sales. At if you apply then rule of Nemo Dat, the sheriff has no title over the property that he sells. Therefore, pursuant to Nemo Dat, the buyer acquires zero title also because you cannot give what you do not have. Yun ang sabi ng Nemo Dat, diba? Kaya lang, this being an exception, the buyer here acquires good title because the sheriff may not have title over the property, but he is authorized by the court to conduct the sale. Therefore, this tells us that the seller need not be the owner. What the seller needs is authority, either from the owner or from the court. In this particular situation, the authority is from the court. Therefore, the buyer here acquires good title even if the sheriff, the one who actually conducts the sale, has no title over the property. So this is a third exception to the rule of Nemo Dat. The fourth exception is sale at merchant store. What is a merchant store? Dito inalagay ko ang definition. In the case of City of Manila versus Bugsok Lumber, a 1959 case, a merchant store is any place where goods are kept for sale or where goods are deposited and sold by one engaged in buying and selling them. There must be goods or wares stored therein or on display, and provide also that the firm or person maintaining that office is actually engaged in the business of buying and selling. Ito yung mga tindahan na nakadisplay ang goods. Pwede mong inspeksyonin ang goods bago mo bilhin. And they are doing that in a continuous manner. Hindi yung bukas ngayon and then wala na. Ito yung may continuity yung tindahan. Maliit man siya, malaki man siya, basta nakadisplay ang mga wares. So, this is not an online store kasi yung online, di mo ma-inspect yung goods bago mo bilhin. Ito yung mga tindahan dyan sa Quiapo, tindahan sa Santa Cruz, sa SM, etc. na pwede mong tingnan-tingnan muna yung goods bago mo bilhin. At naka-display, yun ang mahalaga, naka-display yung goods. Now, sa 1505, we continue, number 3, purchases made in merchant store or in fairs or markets in accordance with the Code of Commerce and special laws. So, these are exceptions. So, yung sale at merchant store, doon sa example natin, doon sa quiz natin, nagsisimula tayo lagi sa snatching and then binenta niya sa merchant store. Pag binili mo sa merchant store, cleansed ang title mo kahit na siya ay nakaw. Pag binili mo sa merchant store. So, this is the fourth exception. So, may example tayo doon na ninakaw ni thief and then ibinenta niya sa merchant store. Nabili ni A sa merchant store. Can you recover from A? No, you cannot recover from him. Because the buyer from a merchant store, regardless of the origin of the goods, acquire perfect title to the goods. May practical application ito eh. Ito yung, alam mo, namimili ka, pag hindi ito binigyan ng perfect title, palagi kang nagdududa. Bumili ka sa SM, bumili ka sa Santa Cruz, bumili ka sa Quiapo, bumili ka sa Cubao, palagi kang nagdududa, baka naman may ibang may-ari ito. Kaya ito binigyan ng perfect title para naman yung mga mamimili, ay kampante sila. Na pag binili nila sa merchant store, ay assured sila na yun ay, ang title nila doon ay cleansed. Kahit pa, yun ay galing sa magnanakaw. Kaya nga, di ba, pinasara yung mga tindahan dyan sa Manila ni Mayor Isko Moreno. Kasi kahit na nakaw yun, tapos ibinenta niya sa tindahan, i-display ng tindahan, binili mo, perfect ang title mo. Perfect ang title ni buyer. So, if you apply Nemo Dat, dapat walang title si buyer, nakaw yun eh. Diba? Kaya lang dumaan siya sa merchant store, na-cleanse ang title. So, this is a very practical application kasi kung hindi nila ipa-perfect ang title ng buyer from a merchant store, every time na mamili ka, magdududa ka, baka naman ito nakaw, baka mabawi ito sa akin. So, pag namili ka sa merchant store, rest assured na perfect ang title mo. Pero, ang definition ng merchant ay nandito sa slide, no? Basahin nyo ang definition. Ito yung nakadisplay talaga at continuing ang business, hindi yung one time lang. Ito yung buying and selling, din nakalagay. Sold by one engaged in buying and selling. Talagang trader siya. Okay? So, this is the fourth exception to the rule ab Nemo Dat. As exception number 5, and this is the last in our book, sale by seller who has a voidable title on the subject matter sold. This is based on Article 1506, and it says, where the seller of goods has a voidable title thereto, but his title has not been avoided at the time of the sale, the buyer acquires a good title to the goods provided he buys them in good faith for value and without notice of the seller's defect of title. So I'll just give an example. Let's go back to the laptop as our example. A owns a laptop. He sells it to B. B is the buyer. And B pays in negotiable instrument, check. Nag-issue siya ng check. Halimbawa, 10,000 yun. Nag-issue siya ng check. He draws a check for 10,000 in favor of A as payment for the laptop. But the transaction happens on a Saturday, on a weekend. So, Saturday pa lang, ay kinuha na ni B yung laptop dahil nagbigay na siya ng check in the amount of 10,000. Pero si A, yung may-ari, hindi niya pa yun may encash or may deposit kasi Sabado eh. Naghintay pa siya ng 2 araw, pagdating ng Lunes, sa kanya diniposito. The thing is, nung linggo ibinenta na ni B yung laptop kay C. Okay? So, the scenario is, nagkabilihan ng Sabado, nag-issue ng check si B ng in favor of A as payment for the laptop. And the following day, B sells the laptop to C. Pagdating ng Lunes, nung i-encash na ni A yung cheque, na-dishonor for reason of account closed. Diba? In other words, the title of B over the laptop was voidable because he obtained the consent of A through fraud. Naloko niya. Sinabi niya na may pera siya sa bangko, pero wala pala. So, fraudulent ang naging dahilan kung bakit pumayag si A na ibenta sa kanya. Kasi kung alam lang ni A na wala siyang pera, hindi siya papayag. So, ang problema, linggo pa lang, hindi pa na i-encash or hindi pa nalalaman ni A na talbog yung check ni B, na ibenta ni B yung laptop kay C. Question, does C acquire title over the laptop? What is the status of the sale between B and C? Dito, provided, dito sa last line na, provided he buys them in good faith for value and without notice of the seller's defect, C acquires good title over the laptop. Ito ang requirements lang ha. Good faith. Anong ibig sabihin ng good faith? Si C, hindi niya alam na may problema yung pagkakabili ni B sa laptop. Hindi niya alam na fraudulent. Okay, for value, binayaran niya ng tama. Without notice of the seller's defect, yun din ang ibig sabihin ng good faith. Hindi niya alam na si B ay voidable yung title niya. Okay? So, in which case, C acquires a good title. So, this is an exception to the Nemo Dat. Kasi sa Nemo Dat, kung zero title zero title ang seller, zero title ang buyer. Pero dito, voidable lang eh. And how do you avoid that sale? Halimbawa, pag nalaman ni A na tumalbog yung check, he should inform B. O B, balik mo yung yung laptop ko. Kasi I'm canceling the sale because you defrauded me. Akala ko may pera ka sa bangko, wala pala. And then i-report mo na sa pulis. Kasuhan mo na ng estafa and BP 22. That's the way to avoid avoidable sale in our example. Pero bago nagawa yun ni A, naibenta ni B. Then, provided that the second buyer buys them in good faith for value and without notice of the seller's defect. Ang sinasabi ko doon sa question, the buyer is an innocent buyer. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng innocent buyer. Buyer in good faith and for value. Here, the second buyer, C, acquires good title over the goods. Pero halimbawa, inannul muna, sinabi na ni A na, wag mo nang, binabawi ko na yan kasi niloko mo ako, and then in-report niya sa police, kinasuhan niya ng estafa, and then saka ibinenta ni B, then the buyer does not acquire good title kasi avoided na yung sale bago niya na ibenta uli. Pero dito sa example natin, sa sale by seller as avoidable title, bago na avoid yung sale, na ibenta ni B to C. Therefore, C acquires good title. So this is actually the last exception in our book, but there are others which I will discuss shortly. We will discuss other exceptions that are also provided in the book but are not specifically discussed. The next exception is public sale. That is provided for in Article 559, and let us read. The possession of movable property acquired in good faith is equivalent to title. Nevertheless, one who has lost any movable or has been unlawfully deprived thereof may recover it from the person in possession of the same. If the possessor of a movable lost or which the owner has been unlawfully deprived has acquired it in good faith at a public sale, the owner cannot obtain its return without reimbursing the price paid therefor. So, itong article na to, applicable ito sa maraming question natin sa quiz. Number 1, itong naka-bold. One who has lost any movable or has been unlawfully deprived thereof may recover it from the person in possession of the same. So, yung example natin ng thief, the thief steals the necklace from A. Question, can A recover it from the thief? Of course, under 559, first paragraph. One who has lost any movable or has been unlawfully deprived thereof. So, unlawfully deprived, ibig sabihin, biktima siya ng krimen. Kaya nga theft eh. Diba? Crime yun, crime against property. May recover it from the person in possession of the same. So, can the girl recover it from the thief? Yes, he can recover. No question about that. Second paragraph. If the possessor of a movable lost or which the owner has been unlawfully deprived has acquired it in good faith at a public sale, the owner cannot obtain its return without reimbursing the price paid therefor. So, may problem din tayo doon. Na even if assuming that it was stolen from him, naging biktima siya ng crime against property, nakalagay dito, the owner has been unlawfully deprived, ibig sabihin, unlawful deprivation, there has been a crime committed, like theft or robbery. But the possessor acquired it in good faith at a public sale. Ito yung subasta, naalala nyo yung isinanla niya sa isang pawn shop and then hindi nabayaran, sinubasta. The owner cannot obtain its return without reimbursing the paid or the price paid therefor. So, pag nabili ni A sa subasta, nakiklense ang title niya. Kaya lang, pwede mo pa rin mabawi. Basta lang, i-reimburse mo yung kanyang ibinayad. Yun ang rule dito. So, very important itong 559. No? Sa 559, first paragraph, you can recover it from the thief. No questions asked. Sa pangalawa, assuming na somebody acquires it from a public sale, even assuming that it was stolen from him, he can recover it only upon payment of reimbursement. So, ito yung pang-anim actually na exception sa Nemo Dat. Sa Nemo Dat kasi, you cannot give what you don't have. Kaya lang, dito sa 559 first paragraph, this is not an exception because it says you can recover it from the person who unlawfully deprived you of the property. From the thief in our example, in our quiz, you can recover it. Zero title siya eh. Pero, isinanla niya na, narimata na nung sanglaan, and then ibinenta na sa subasta. Yung nakabili nun, na-cleanse ang title. Pero hindi absolute, hindi tulad ng merchant store na absolute ang cleansing dun. Kahit mag-offer ka ng reimbursement at hindi niya ibigay, you don't have a right to recover the property bought from a merchant store. But if the property is bought from a public sale, you can recover only with reimbursement. So take note of 559, public sale. This is also an exception kasi kahit nanakaw yun, pero dumaan na siya sa subasta, then nagkaroon na ng title yung buyer from the public sale. Therefore, you cannot recover it without reimbursement under the second paragraph of 559. So, itong provision na to, maraming masasabog to dun sa quiz natin. Okay, the number 7 exception, agency. This should be self-explanatory, especially if you have taken up agency as a subject. Kasi agency is where the principal authorizes another person known as agent to perform certain acts in and for his behalf. So, yung halimbawa si A, principal, inutusan niya si B na ibenta ang kanyang kotse. There is a special power of attorney given to B to sell his car at a specific period for a specific amount. Then, even if the agent is not the owner, if he is authorized by the owner, the sale by the agent is valid. Therefore, this is an exception to the rule of Nemo Dat. Number 7. Number 8 exception is sale by one of the joint owners. The presumption here is that the object is personal and it is indivisible. So, ang example natin sa quiz, ABC law students jointly own a laptop and they unanimously agree to keep it at the residence of C. Now, without the knowledge of A and B, C sells it to D. So, it is personal, it is indivisible. What is the status of the sale by C to D? As long as D is a buyer in good faith and for value, he acquires good title over the laptop. Ano ang remedyo ni A at B? Ang remedyo nila is to run after C for compensation or for reimbursement. So, this is the 8th exception. Number 9 exception, sale by a buyer obtaining possession before the property in the goods has vested in him. This is based on Article 1434, which says, when a person who is not the owner of a thing sells or alienates and delivers it, and later the seller or grantor acquires title thereto, such title passes by operation of law to the buyer or grantee. So, for example, A owns a laptop, B borrows the laptop, B now is a bailee in commodatum, and then B sells the laptop to C. Sabi sa Nemo Dat, the transferee does not acquire a better title than that of the transferor because you cannot give what you do not have. So, if the B is a bailee in commodatum, at most, C is a bailee in commodatum too. And alam natin, in commodatum, the ownership does not pass. However, halimbawa, binenta ni B kay C ay Lunes. Binigay niya kay C yung laptop. Kahit hiniram niya lang yun kay A, dineliver niya kay C, binenta niya. Pero, the following day, B acquires it from A. The following day, sabi niya kay A, bilhin ko na lang kaya yung laptop mo kasi anyway, ginagamit ko naman, hinihiram ko naman lagi. So, sabi ni A, sige, bilhin mo na lang. So, Martes, nagkabilihan sila. Then, it says here, under 1434, it says here, title passes by operation of law to the buyer or grantee. Automatically, para siyang kuryente. Automatically, nung magkabilihan si B sa kasi A, yung title ng over the laptop passes from A to C, diretso siya. Hindi na siya dumaan kay B. So, ito ang number 9 exception because applying Nemo Dat, C should not get any title better than that of the buyer because the buyer, B, because B is only a bailee and commodatum. Pero because of 1434, upon acquisition of the object, ownership automatically passes to the second buyer. So this is the ninth exception to the rule on Nemo Dat. The last exception, number 10, is sale by an unpaid seller. This is found in Articles 1526 and 1533. Yung unpaid seller, ito yung binenta niya na pero in possession pa rin siya ng goods. Pero he is unpaid, hindi nagbayad yung buyer niya. So under the law, under 1526 and 1533, if there is a stipulation for a resale or if the goods are perishable, then the unpaid seller can resell the merchandise and the second buyer acquires title to the merchandise. So we will discuss this when we go to the special remedies of an unpaid seller. These are the provisions of law that give the unpaid seller the right of resale. Just read them in the meantime. Take note of the underlined sentences. So that's all for now. Thank you.